Bloodborne makes no attempt to make you feel comfortable from the start. It throws you into a world in which you feel vulnerable and weak. You begin with no means to attack other than your bare hands. You also start off wearing some pretty ordinary clothing that offers little to no protection while traversing Bloodborne's belligerent and intimidating world. Straight off, you are faced with a werewolf. The werewolf is one of the game's harder enemies. The game developers expect you to die against the wolf, however more skilled players will be able to circumvent the beginner's trap. If the player does not get killed by the wolf, they will most likely fall victim to the many enemies just ahead of the wolf. Not long after this encounter, you receive your first weapon. You have the choice between 3 of them. You may think that this would help to ease your nerves, but it doesn't, as the game gets increasingly difficult from that point. The player will be taking on some very disturbing and at times frustratingly difficult boss battles. Bloodborne's demographic is similar to that of Dark Souls. It targets hardcore gamers and certainly isn't for the faint-hearted. With its steep learning curve and punishing nature, it has reduced gamers to their knees across the globe. It takes a very gothic theme, clearly taking inspiration from Victorian London. This gives the game a very creepy and mysterious feel. The story of Bloodborne tells of a hunter that has to slay nightmarish beasts in order to be free from the hunter's dream. At first glance, this game's story may seem very shallow and may seem to have a complete lack of depth. However, it is quite the opposite, as there is a lot to uncover in Bloodborne. However, it doesn't go out of its way to tell you. It is the player's job to uncover the story by reading the descriptions of items to discover lore about the world, characters, etc. I feel like this is a good thing, as it gives the gamers the chance to speculate. I feel as though this also benefits YouTubers, as they can make videos about their interpretation of the story, which may differ for each person. As you slay beasts, you will collect blood echoes. They act as the currency throughout the game. They can be used to level up your stats and can also be used to purchase items. These blood echoes work exactly the same as souls from Software's other games, Dark Souls. The similarities between Bloodborne and Dark Souls are constantly being pointed out. They have a similar feel as they are both developed by From Software. However, Bloodborne's combat is much more fast-paced and undeniably smoother, and many would argue that it is better. The formula of Bloodborne is much akin to that of Dark Souls. You fight a boss at the end of each stage. It's simple, but it works very well and has done since the first Souls game. Bloodborne has been received extremely well by gamers and all of the game review giants too. IGN gave Bloodborne a very high score of 9.1 out of 10. They had only positive things to say about the game, which is something that seems to hold true for every review of the game. Bloodborne is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. This left Xbox One and PC gamers unable to play the game. At the time of release, this game was being labelled as PlayStation 4's first big system seller. Many Dark Souls fans that did not own a PlayStation 4 were disappointed, as Dark Souls was multi-platform and wanted Bloodborne to be too. When Bloodborne was released in March 2015, it was priced at the standard RRP of £40. There was a special edition which was priced at £60. However, nearly 2 years have passed and you can find Bloodborne on Amazon for £25. It has retained its value better than some games. Bloodborne also has one piece of downloadable content titled The Old Hunters, which you can purchase from the PlayStation Store for £10. Bloodborne sold a total of over 2 million copies. For an exclusive, this is a very impressive feat, as there are less people that are able to play it. The Dark Souls game sold around 3 million copies each, but this is of course due to the fact that it is a multi-platform game and is a more established name than Bloodborne. Most people agree that it is a great game, and they seem to class it as a Souls game, despite Souls not being in the title. In my opinion, Bloodborne was the best game of 2015. The only game that came close, as far as I'm concerned, is The Witcher 3. I have now played Bloodborne a countless amount of times and enjoyed it on each separate occasion. It is one of the most challenging and rewarding games I have ever played. I am constantly playing through the game with different gear, and it never goes stale for me. Unlike many others, I feel as though this game is an improvement upon the Dark Souls series, and I honestly can't get enough of it. The difficulty of the game is what makes it great, so don't be deterred by it, because if you manage to complete it, you will feel like a champion, albeit a tired champion. The director of the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne, Hidetaka Miyazaki, has expressed no desire to make a sequel to Bloodborne. Whilst we shouldn't rule anything out, I wouldn't hold my breath. I am not able to articulate how happy I would be to see a second Bloodborne, although we have been given no notion to the possibility of a sequel as of yet. We can only hope. I believe that it will happen, but not for a very long time. The possibility of a Bloodborne sequel has been boosted by what seems to be the end of the Dark Souls series, or at least an extended hiatus. Thank you for watching my Bloodborne documentary. I feel as though this game is the pinnacle of the action RPG genre. I hope that it has been insightful and that you have enjoyed it, but most importantly that you have learned something of value about one of my favourite games of all time, Bloodborne.